Welcome to April's Garage. There's a new car brand coming to town. It's backed by Jeff Bezos, so you know it's really coming to market, but it doesn't look like his rocket.
No, it is not phallic shaped at all.
No.
It's a miracle.
It is called the Slate, the brand, and it's new pickup trucks.
It's a little bitty pickup truck.
It's a little baby pickup truck, but it's completely stripped down the price starting at $20,000. Well, $25,000, but then you got your EV credits.
Credits, yes. Okay.
To get it down.
Yes.
And here's their big thing. They said, we pulled everything out of the vehicle that's not vital. This is Jeremy Snyder, their chief commercial officer. And he said it's a basic truck. So everything's stripped out.
Which is normally not like an advertising point. Like, yeah, it's, it goes down the road. It gets you from A to B. But in this day and age, that's what people are screaming for. Like, I don't want all of this crap in my car, and I don't want to spend $50,000 for a little pickup truck. Somebody just sell me a little simple pickup truck. Finally, Jeff Bezos is like, here you go.
Here you got you. Just press a button and order. Well, it's actually pretty customizable. They have different body panels that you can put on it for color. Because it's not really paint. There's a cap. You turn it into an SUV. You can put another row of seats back there.
So my spec would be the steely looking wheels.
Right.
And the fastback kind of hatch. Not the flat hatch.
Right.
And matte black, like full Darth Vader kind of spec looking one. I think that looks fantastic.
I like that, but the cool thing is that you can kind of change it out all the time. There's also customizable key fobs. Like they really want this to be a fun experience, kind of like a Lego car. There's also crank windows. Jake, do you know what crank windows are? Because you're a super young millennial, right?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Optional power windows. Here we are again back in the air. Like I remember when I was selling new Chevys and we had the Aveo. The Aveo you could option with roller windows. You could option with no air conditioning.
Really?
They called it the special value package.
Yeah.
Because like up in Alaska or Canada, they don't need or want air conditioning. It was like a $1,000 option. And accidentally we dealer traded for one that had the special value option. We got this like $11,000 or $12,000 Aveo in. And then we realized when we got it in, had no air conditioning.
That's
like,
terrible,
oops.
right?
Yeah.
But I imagine this could be ordered without that too. And their thing was right now the price of an average new vehicle is $48,000, which is a lot. Your payment's going to be around $700-800, which is crazy. Where they figured around $400 a month it should be the average payment, which still seems like a lot for a car.
Here's my problem with it.
Okay.
It's $27,000, the real price, the real price, without the mandate that might be going away, the $75 tax credit. Probably not sticking around. We'll see. Ford Maverick, base price, $27-something thousand.
Right.
You get 4 doors, which people want a 4-door vehicle and a truck bed, much more practical. And it's a base hybrid, so you can always fill up the tank. Because some people still have range anxiety. Some people don't know how far it is to get the things in back and have issues with electric cars and don't. I might be talking about somebody that I know.
Let's fill in the blank. Women should not have what? What did you say? What was your quote?
It was a joke. It was a joke, and I said
should not have what?
Electric cars. It was a joke. It was a joke.
But I messed up.
It was a joke.
I messed up big time.
We had our engagement party.
No, we had our wedding shower.
Or sorry, whatever it is. Yeah, wedding shower, yes.
And I was driving my friend Crystal, I love you, Crystal, to the airport. And
she had done one trip earlier with some other friends that day.
And dropped them back off. But as we were halfway to the airport, we noticed that our range was around 20 miles left in the Cadillac Lyriq, which is a problem because we're about 25 miles from the airport.
April didn't know that we're 20-something miles from the airport. Even though it takes about 30 minutes to get to the airport and it's all highway driving.
I mean, who really can calculate miles in their head easily unless they've grown up in this place, right?
She texts me at the airport, her range, snaps a photo of her range at 15 miles at the airport, and it's 22, 23 miles to get here.
Oh, so Crystal was like, I don't even need to, like, you don't need to stop. I can just jump out of the car so we don't use the power to accelerate again. After I drop her off, we turn the radio off, turn the AC off just to conserve any amount of energy. I don't know if that helped, but it kept saying like, hello, like charge your vehicle soon, exclamation point. But then when I hit about 10 miles, it just erased all the range left and was like, you're screwed, bitch. Like, you better be careful.
Luckily,
And luckily,
somewhat less than 10 miles from the airport is Jake's house that has an EV charger.
Right. Well, I was going to go to a charging station, but you had told me that the app is so complicated and it's really tricky.
It's
to
annoying
charge
because you'd have to download an app.
Right.
You'd have to have your credit card, but you left the house without your credit card, your ID,
Don't
and all that
tell
stuff.
my secrets.
You got out with your phone at least.
Right.
But so you would have no way to do. It would have been. So I called and said, just drive to Jake's house, and then borrow one of his hoopties.
I didn't even think I would make it to Jake's.
Borrow one of his. I'm sure one of his 5 BMWs is working that day, and drive it back.
It was so true.
And sure enough, you drove the old diesel that was mine for like a minute.
That's like BMW heaven at Jake's house, and that's where they go to pasture. The BMW.
It's purgatory where they decide whether they're going to heaven or hell with the next owner usually. But so you drove the 335D with plenty of diesel in the tank and got home while the Lyric sat at Jake's house and charged. So Jake saved the day.
Thank you, Jake.
But that's the thing with electric cars is the adopters. I mean, so the range on this thing is, I think, 150 or something. What was it? Something like that? It's low, I think 140 or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you can buy a range extender battery and add another 100 or 150 to it, which is kind of cool. The idea of which Tesla abandoned on the Cybertruck, being able to pop in an extra battery pack and double your range when you need it, take up some bed space or whatever, makes sense. And it would be nice in the future where a car battery wears out.
Right. But
and
they're
changing
so expensive. That's what the problem is. And trying to get them to be cheaper than a gas engine is kind of a big debate.
So this is where the Maverick, for the same price, makes a lot more.
Does not look as cool. The Slate looks cool. Great name. Love it. Jeff Bezos is backing it. They're making him in Warsaw, Indiana.
Yep.
That's a beautiful.
Yep. Sadly, the ID Buzz could have been this, but it has a low range as well. But they decided to make the ID Buzz $70,000. This is where the Slate comes in, where they do a bit of nostalgia, a bit of old school looks, old school truck, and at a price point people actually would want to buy it and kill. Where Volkswagen just totally blew it, in my opinion.
Speaking of the ID Buzz, segue. They're stopping all the sales of the ID Buzz right now because there's a huge recall with NHTSA about the back seat, that third row. You're only supposed to be able to fit 2 people in the back. You got 3 in the middle, 2 up front, and 2 in the back. You can configure it where the middle is a captain's seat, so there'd be 2. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. Here's what the government's saying, that there's too much room in the back and you can technically fit 3 people back there. So there should be a third seatbelt, or it needs to be smaller. So because this back row is bigger than 2 seats and there's only 2 seatbelts, they have to fix it.
So because the seat's nice and wide and comfortable, they're going to force them to make the seat skinnier and less comfortable, or add a seatbelt that's unnecessary.
Yes, they fail to comply with the requirements of Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard number 208.
Oh, how dare you!
Occupant crash protection.
Oh no! Instead of selling 1,500 in the U.S., we'll sell 0, and they're screwed anyway. So maybe they just use that as an excuse to stop. Be like, yeah, we screwed up. Canceled.
But here's the good thing, the positive thing that happened with the Drive. This is the article called The Drive. Beverly did not say it was a brilliant design or a beautiful car like the people over at Jalopnik. She didn't say it was an amazing car because they are still the ugliest car on the road.
They're just massively overpriced. Yeah, so the Slate is not. We'll see how it does with the low range and the price being, it could work.
I think it should work. I think they're really cool cars. So their fix for the ID Buzz, do you know what it is? Because you would think it would be to add an additional seatbelt. It is not. It is to add a trim piece in the back seat to make it smaller.
Oh, so they're going to put like a piece of plastic over it to make it technically part of the seat.
Right. I guess so.
Interesting.
It seems like a really weird fix because you want room, and let's say an American man is a little bigger than normal, not that he's going to be able to get back there in the third row.
A big American man buying a Volkswagen ID Buzz it's unless it's like an old fat hippie that got in the .com bubble and has that money. That's the thing. Nobody is buying these things.
Right.
And it's interesting now. The Slate. All these barriers that people are saying is too expensive. Electric cars are too expensive. They're too complicated. They're just dumb.
Right.
The Slate is the what if.
The Slate's answer.
This will be the he's twerking. That's the sound of torquing down the exhaust manifolds, right?
Tyler Potter's behind us working on the
Perfect torque
Dakota.
spec. Okay. Yes. So
Torquing would be cooler.
will the people who bought the Dakota 20 years ago be like, okay, now this is as cheap as the Dakota 20 years ago. I am going to buy this. Will they deal with the range anxiety and everything else? Because there's no other excuse now. There's no other excuse. Will somebody actually go in and plunk down their money, like mainstream an electric truck? Because so far,
I think there's a great idea. There's a lot of tech in it, which I feel like there's all the bugs in the screens and all the money the companies have been dumping into developing the software for all the digital stuff. And these guys are just like, we're going to sidestep that and just make it like the old school
just plug in your phone.
refrigerators that still run, and the new ones breaking down all the time. Like this is going to be that appliance that gets you from A to B, and it's affordable.
Yeah. Okay. I'll plunk down a reservation right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Thanks so much for watching.
I'm gonna do exactly, the you can't configure it. They just want $100 or $50. Yeah.
Really? You can do that now?
Yeah. Sold.